We start with the rebooting of Rick Perry. Howard Fineman's an MSNBC political analyst and the Huffington Post Media Group editorial director. And Dana Milbank is a columnist for the Washington Post who appears quite regularly and wondrously on page 2. This afternoon, Perry called the birther issue a distraction. But just last night, in an interview with CNBC's John Harwood, Perry said it was a good issue to keep alive. Let's watch this performance.
It's a good issue to keep alive. Just, Donald's got to have some fun. So, and the issue is. But it
sounds like you really do have some doubt about it.
Well, I haven't seen his grades. My grades ended up on the front page of the newspaper. So let's, if we're going to show stuff, let's show stuff. So, but look, that's all a distraction. I mean, I get it. I'm really not worried about the president's birth certificate. It's fun to poke at him a little bit and say, hey, how about let's see your grades and your birth certificate.
Well, I use these words carefully. That's a clown's performance. He's running for president of the United States. He's saying the president of the United States may not be an American-born citizen. Therefore, if you follow logically, an illegal alien. And that's only something I'm doing to have fun with. And then he tries to laugh. Harwood's a serious journalist. He's not laughing with him. Who's laughing with this guy?
Well, clowns are funny. That wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And it really was two worlds. It was John Harwood trying to get a serious answer out of the guy. And it's Rick Perry basically saying, don't pay attention to anything I'm saying. Don't take what I'm saying seriously because I sort of mean it or I don't mean it, and it's all political theater anyway.
Yeah.
It's a good issue to keep alive.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What's this Pee Wee Herman stuff? I mean,
what does that mean?
Why does he behave like Pee Wee Herman if he's a serious? Even Pee Wee Herman's an actor playing Pee Wee Herman. Is this guy playing what he thinks is a presidential candidate?
I think Rick Perry is stunned and baffled because he was supposed to be just waltz into this race and walk away with the whole thing. And then everything fell apart and he's saying, all right, what went wrong? And I think what he's come to the conclusion of is maybe I wasn't crazy enough. Before I used to talk about secession, and so I'm maybe not secession, but we're back with the birther movement.
Look, I'm serious about this. We are. I take it seriously. Who runs this country? We got serious problems. Yeah. He's the best the right wing could offer. Howard, he's the one they put up to knock off Mitt Romney, the moderate Republican, the one they didn't trust. Chris. He's the best they had. They beat the drum for this guy for months. Oh, wait till Rick Perry gets in this battle.
Well, here's what the heartfelt conservatives need to worry about, and heartfelt conservative Republicans. Two of their leading candidates have basically said, I'm joking. You remember Herman Cain said, I want to build a 20-foot fence, and I want to put an electric barbed wire all across it. And then somebody said, really? And he said, no, I was joking. And then he said after that, well, actually, I wasn't quite joking. We need to have a big fence. And so now Rick Perry comes along and says, where's the birth certificate? He says, first in Parade magazine. Then he does this thing with Harwood. And both of them come off as people who are play acting at running for president, play acting at having serious conservative values. I mean, where are the serious, thoughtful conservatives who really are offering solutions to problems that pencil, in other words, that add up, and that aren't meant to be a joke. So conservatives are frustrated because they've got Mitt Romney, who's still out there. The reason they're frustrated is they don't have a serious, don't appear to have a serious candidate.
Let's give some. It's not just they go after birthers, which I think is insulting to the country. He's our president, as well as being a Democrat. He's our president, and the joke about whether he's an American or not, or he's somebody snuck in under the border and is somehow a Kenyan or whatever, is an insult to us. Now he's going into taxes. Taxes bother people. They're heavy in this country. Maybe not as heavy as they have to be at some point, but they're heavy already. They hurt people. And here he is with this plan. Now, I'm going to ask you guys what they think of this so-called plan. He unfurled, his economic plan today. The plan gives taxpayers the option of paying a flat 20% tax, or they can keep their old rates. The plan also calls for lowering the corporate tax rate to 20%. Here is Rick Perry today in South Carolina touting the simplicity of his plan. Well, you'd expect simplicity from him. Let's watch.
Each individual taxpayer will have a choice. You can continue to pay your taxes, as well as the accountants and the lawyers and under the current tax system that we got, or you can file your taxes on this postcard.
Just reminds me of a bobblehead. I mean, here he is, an interview with John Howard, another, as I said, a serious journalist. He defended the plan, even though it would overwhelmingly help the wealthiest Americans, whose rate is higher than 20%. Everybody else is lower. It's clearly aimed directly at helping the rich at a time that everybody resents that 1% having a special. But here he is, by the way. He said critics of the plan were engaging in class warfare. Let's watch.
Americans, I hope, aspire to be wealthy. I hope they aspire to have a better quality of life. And we have this class warfare that's going on now. And I don't agree with that. I'm interested in people getting to work. And folks who generally have money are the ones who invest money, that hire folks, so that those folks who get hired can work their way up to become someday owning the company.
This worthless argument that rich people create jobs, therefore tax them less. It is a brilliant trick of the mind. They make more money, they have more money, therefore tax them less so that what?
Well, look, this isn't the proposal of a serious presidential candidate. This is a guy who's sitting at 6% in the New York Times
and
poll.
Dropping.
And dropping like a stone. I mean, he's just barely ahead of Rick Santorum, who's arguably not really much of a candidate at all. What he's done now is no longer vying with Mitt Romney to make a serious proposal. He's saying, look, it's a Hail Mary. I'm going to try to get one more time to galvanize all of the Tea Party folks. And if it doesn't work, I'll go out and
Who cheers this nonsense? Birtherism, tax rates aimed directly at the wealthiest 1%. Who says, wow, this guy's doing my work for me?
Here's the irony of it, Chris, from having talked to people on both the Democratic side and the conservative side about this plan, if you take it seriously for a minute. Obviously, the Democrats and progressives don't like it because of what you've been saying about cutting rates for the rich, which it would do. But the conservatives don't really like it either because he's not really sweeping away the existing tax system. He's just saying you can have this as an alternative. So all those lawyers and accountants and all those people he's complaining about, for some people, are still going to be there.
Sure, they get a better deal.
So he really, sometimes when you get criticized from all sides, it means you've got to come up with a brilliant idea. In this case, when he's being criticized by all sides, he's basically being laughed off the stage.
And the idea of a multiple choice tax format is an absurd. By the way, I love the idea that everybody could do the short form. It'd be great. Just fill it out on the way home from work one night on the train or whatever. Just fill it out at lunchtime, you're done. That would be great. That's not what he's offering. What he's offering is basically a single rate, a rate that's going to help the rich. That's what he's offering.
Well, and a lower rate for investments to benefit the rich as well. Yeah. But again, I don't think that he's offering this as a serious proposal. He threw out private accounts for Social Security. Wait, weren't we through this once already? He knows that's not the direction we're going in. He's just throwing out something to make this.
Let's put it this way. The last thing Rick Perry wants to do now is to sit down and have another half-hour interview with John Harwood, all about his new tax proposal.
I'll tell you, it's getting to be tricky. Who's less serious? Who is less informed, him or Kaine?
Boy, Michelle Bachmann's looking better every day.
Who's less informed? I know it's a rhetorical question. You can abstain on this question, but according to Republican strategist Alex Castellanos, who advised Mitt Romney in 2008, Rick Perry will go after Romney in the hopes of raising his own profile. He told Politico that the Perry camp will blanket TVs with negative Romney ads. He added, quote, Perry won't just go negative. He'll make your television bleed and beg for mercy. What you want to hear from is one of the lightest minds in the world, the lightest intellects, yelling as loud as possible. That's what he's going to be doing.
He won't be doing it himself.
The ads will.
No, the ads will be brilliantly done, dark, noirish kinds of things. And Rick Perry is a mean son of a gun. This is a guy who went jogging with a pistol, you know. So he's a tough guy from West Texas, and he's going to put all the money and all his chips on the destruction
we were
of Mitt
talking
Romney.
about all the producers and I were trying to figure out, why do you want to be known as a guy that's just towel snapping at the President of the United States? Just taunting him, as he put it, as a joke. I'm just taunting with him. I'm just playing with him. Here's a party that I just keep in the list. They want more people to fry. They love executions. They want people that don't have insurance to die on the gurney in the hospital bed. They want that to happen. Right. They want forget about illegal aliens. The gay soldiers, forget about them. They're there to be booed. If you're homeless, foreclose on. If you have a home, foreclose on the people. If you're a teacher, a fireman, or a cop, get rid of the guy. I mean, this attitude of causing cruel pain pain on people and getting cheers for it. What's that about, Howard? You're giving me that look. Where am I heading with this? I would know where these candidates are heading with this.
Well, I'm not sure the answer, except to say that attitude of mean resentment is very much out there in the country, and it's all over the place. I wouldn't say it's just confined to the nether reaches of the Republican Party.
But not to big government, which they said was a proper enemy for all Americans. Love to bitch about the government. That's normal.
Right.
But not liking firefighters, teachers, not liking people that are sick without insurance.
On that,
really hating people who are on the condemned row. Fine, they're going to be executed. You have to boo them on the way out.
Chris, people are at a point where we're in a revolution of declining expectations about their own future and their family's future, and they're looking for people to lash out at.
Schadenfreude.
And by the way, Barack Obama is so despised by the base of the Republican Party that anything Rick Perry or Herman Cain says is acceptable.
So if you say he's a foreigner from Kenya, he's not really an American, he's a legal alien, they just cheer it.
And Rick Perry has basically decided the prospects of him reaching the general election are so remote that it's worth gambling.
So what is his goal at this point?
I think it is maybe lightning strikes and he can galvanize the support, and otherwise he goes out in a blaze of glory. He's a hero of the Tea Party. It worked well for a while for that one from Alaska.
Okay. You're very good at satire, Dana, and I don't think you can satirize this guy. I don't think you can go further than who he is.
It is hard to.
The job's done. The cake's baked. Anyway, thank you, Howard Fineman. Thank you, Dana Milbank.